Are you the reason why your car doesn't look as awesome as it could? Well, for the past 2.5 years or so, people have been sending me in pictures of their vehicles for me to roast on this channel. And one of the most common mistakes I've seen people make has been simply just doing too much to their car. So today I'm going to share how I think Connor could take his MR2 from looking like an unfinished project car to the beautiful gem from the 90s that it is. By the way, if you want me to review your car next, sign up to my email list below and I will send you a link to apply as soon as I open submissions up again. Onwards! So you're probably expecting me to tear this poor car into pieces because of its current condition, right? But I can actually see a lot of potential here. You don't need a bunch of flashy modifications to make a car like this stand out anymore because compared to modern ones right now, they're already totally different. I mean, pop-up headlights, come on. So let's get the elephant out of the room right off the bat here, the front bumper. And I wouldn't paint this bumper. I wouldn't. I wouldn't bother painting it. I would rip it off. And not only that, I would rip the entire body kit off of this car. It has a complete Veilside body kit on it. So front bumper, side skirts, rear bumper, and even the rear wing. Veilside was a very well-respected Japanese tuning company. It still is. One of the strengths that Veilside had as a company though was not the styling of their cars or their body kits. They've just been known for being kind of ugly. Possibly the most popular one is the Mazda RX-7 from Fast and the Furious. And then there was also like the 350Z from the same movies, and they did weird stuff. They really changed the lines of the cars that they were making parts for. This is an Acura NSX, apparently. Here's a regular stock-bodied RX-7, and you can see they always had this sort of design language of, it was like a fish mouth front bumper though. Do not screenshot that part of the video. So when it comes to Connor's MR2 here, I feel like there is a lot of room for improvement by simply going back to stock and putting OEM bumpers back on, OEM side skirts, or if you want, you could still like put a lip kit on it or do aftermarket side skirts that suit the car and follow the original lines maybe a little bit better. In my guide to making your car stand out, look at this. Look at those Altezza taillights. Number 3, avoid trendy upgrades. Ask yourself, is this upgrade likely to continue making your car look good 15 years from now? If not, then you're not going to have a timeless look. And then if we go back to the Veilside kit here on Connor's car, I mean, look at these side skirts. It completely changes the bottom line of the car and puts this weird twist in it and then a big scoop on the side. I mean, the fact that the car has that side scoop on it already makes it stand out. How many cars nowadays do you see with vents on the side that are designed to suck air into the engine? It's already unique, it's already cool. Now, I'm not against body modifications, obviously, myself, but very rarely is it a good idea to completely change the lines of a car. So if you want a timeless look, you adjust the styling, you don't recreate it. So let's go through some of the body kit options for the MR2 that we could potentially switch to, and check this one out. We've got, should I make this bigger? Can I make this bigger? I don't know what company this is. Artwork Body Shop, whatever that is. So you can see here that we just have a carbon fiber splitter along the bottom of the factory side skirt. And then they've also added this sort of carbon fiber, I guess like a scoop extension, you could call it, on the factory vent on the side. So if you don't want to leave it completely stock, you want to go a little bit more aggressive, I think that's a great option. But if you do want to run aftermarket ones, there are other options. I mean, this car is similar to mine with the gritty side skirts. You can see, I'm not sure if my car is blurry in the background or not. I don't have an expensive enough lens for that to be a problem, but you know. Here's some gritty side skirts. Very clean, very simple. This also has the factory rear bumper just like mine, and it just has gritty rear add-ons on the original bumper. Other options, if you really wanted to do something more aggressive, this is the Tom's side skirt. To me, even this is kind of changing the lines a little bit because it doesn't have that same straight line across the bottom. It drops down here. But if you really wanted to do something aftermarket and change the lines a little bit, that's not as aggressive as adding that like twist into it. Body kits like the Veilside that were from like the late 90s, early 2000s, the reason why companies were putting these things on a car like the MR2 was because they were trying to modernize it, trying to bring it up to the current time to make it look newer. The issue here is that when that body kit was made, was back like in the, again, late 90s, early 2000s. Well, car styling back then was very round and bubbly. Look at some of the cars like, you know, the Ford Taurus or even like the first gen Tundra. That was considered modern at the time. Nowadays, that's considered outdated too. So essentially, by using one of those body kits from that era, you're trying to update the look of your car with outdated parts. It just doesn't work anymore. Let's take a look at some front lips that might work for this car. I think either keeping it stock is a great option, or going with the Greddy front lip or the Airwear front lip, or something that is a similar shape to the original one and just extended down to make the car look lower. That's a great way to make the car look more modern without, going too drastic with changing the lines of it. I think that's the Greddy front lip. Looks good. This one here looks like an Airwear front lip similar to mine on my car. It's a great option that you kind of can't go wrong with. Here's my actual car. Who's stealing a picture of my car? Camposits. I've heard of him. He's all over the MR2 community. Yo, Campos, quit stealing pictures of my car to sell your fake knockoff lip. Even something like this, I'm not sure what brand this is. It kind of reminds me of the Mad PSI lip from back in the day. There was I think was it Crux and Mad PSI made like a carbon fiber lip for the MR2, and it was kind of like this with a very similar kind of a hard edge on it. This is a great option as well. Are you guys drinking enough water? You gotta hydrate. Did you know 70% of your brain is made out of water? I don't know if that's the actual stat. I can't remember whether that's true or not, but you gotta drink water. So let's go back to Connor's MR2 here. It's got 150,000 K on the clock. This seems like it's a pretty, low mileage for a car this old. It seems like it's a pretty solid example because look at all of the panel gaps, the way that everything fits on it, the door, everything looks like it's tight and it looks clean. I don't know what's going on in this picture. Did you wash it and then not dry it off and it froze or something? I don't know. Looks like there's ice all over it. Anyways, the body looks like it's in really good shape except for whatever happened here on the front end. If I had to guess, it actually looks like there's some kind of crash damage here that you're fixing because this hood, it doesn't line up properly. It looks like it's tweaked. It's bent a little bit. And we're doing some body work over here. It also has hood pins on it. I don't know why. The factory hood has a factory hood latch that works perfectly fine. Fix the hood, get rid of that bumper when you get rid of the body kit, and the whole front end of the car is gonna look amazing. And I gotta be honest, sometimes I feel like my own car is a little bit too much. And I kind of think about going back to stock or doing like a sort of like a tribute car, like a 1998 clone or something like that. Actually, I'll show you what I'm talking about. That's when Toyota updated the car themselves. That's a 1998 MR2. And it's got a different wing and different front lip. She seems to think it looks good, so she seems smart. But I probably won't change anything because in the end, I still kind of like it the way it is. I gotta point this out. My brother in Christ, what are those? Why did you do that? Why did you paint your windshield wipers red? Don't do it. Go back. There's no reason to draw attention to your windshield wipers by painting them a bright color. I mean, take a look at mine. Just kidding, you can't because I took them off the car. Don't worry about it. All right, let's take another look at the side of the car here. And there's one more thing that's really jumping out at me. Look at all these stickers. I guess if you want to support your favorite brands, then just put their parts on your car. That's how you can support them. You know what? I got something for this. One sec. See this? That's a razor blade. Get them off. Unless you own a company that you're, advertising, or you're sponsored by a company, or they're paying you to advertise their company on your car, it just cheapens the look. It's not doing anything good. While we're on this side shot here, let's talk about the paint. This is not an OEM paint job, right? So this car didn't come in this shade of whatever this is, red orange, I think is it red orange? I have to say, I'm not mad at it. I don't hate it. It wouldn't necessarily be my first choice, but I think this color could work on this car. And it does look like I think it's in decent condition because, if you zoom in over here where the sun is hitting the car, I don't really see a whole lot of swirl marks and scratches and stuff on it. It looks decent. So, I mean, if you get rid of the body kit and then you color match everything with this color that you're already using, I think it would look good. I hope you have the color code for this though, because good luck matching that if that was just some random House of Colors pick or something, I don't know. By the way, the wheels are great. I think these are an excellent choice for this car. These are Rays, I think they're G Games. Beautiful, simple, 5-spoke design. What are they, 18s? It looks like they might be 18s. And this bronze color, I like it. I think it works with the paint on the car. It's kind of a unique look, but it does kind of contrast it nicely. And yeah, beautiful wheels. When in doubt, if you're not sure about what style of wheel to go with, look at what the car came with from the factory. All of the MR2s, or at least all of the turbo MR2s, came with 5-spoke wheels from the factory. So the early cars like mine and yours, the 91s, they had these tiny little 14-inch 5-spoke wheels. They didn't look great, that's for sure. They're very small. They make the car look kind of feminine, I think. And then they upgraded to the 93 wheels. They were super fat, but 5 spokes. And then even all the way up in 1998, they upgraded them again, and then they were like kind of a thinner, but still 5-spoke design. So you can't go wrong with a 5-spoke wheel design if your car came with 5 spokes in the beginning. Now, one thing I did notice here though is that the wheel fitment maybe leaves something to be desired, right? So you can see that they're kind of like sunken into the fenders a little bit here. But here's the thing. In this case, the offset is not working for me because the body kit on the car is so aggressive that the wheel fitment kind of needs to be aggressive to match that. And so when it's sunken in, it just looks like this person just wasn't putting that much effort into tying everything in properly. But if this was a stock bodied car, I feel like having kind of a less aggressive offset on your wheels, you can get away with it. It's not the end of the world because the overall look of the car is kind of subtle and conservative. So to not have the wheels like poking out of the fenders or sitting like perfectly flush, I think it suits it. So the wheels are great. He said that this thing is on coilovers of some sort. And that's another thing that I think you've nailed. I think the ride height looks awesome. You could go a little bit lower if you wanted to, and then you kind of sacrifice the functionality a little bit. But I think the wheels and tires fill out the fenders pretty darn nicely if you ask me. And so I think the ride height is good, the wheels are good, just the overall stance, you're pretty much good to go. I wouldn't change it. One more thing to point out here, this is sort of the power of detailing. So look at this rear tire that's still wet. I'm assuming that you've just recently washed the car and this back tire hasn't dried yet because it's sitting in the shade. So it's still kind of dark and glossy looking as if it had tire shine or something on it. And then look at the front tire that has dried in the sun. Look at how dull and chalky and gray it looks. That is the power of detailing and why it's important to, deep clean your wheels and tires and run some kind of a tire shine. It doesn't have to be shiny, but it just has to be dark black again. It does have an aftermarket dual exhaust on it, but I wouldn't change that. I don't know, is that an HKS exhaust? I think it looks cool. It's kind of funny because typically a 4-cylinder car, if you put a dual exhaust on it, that's like immediately a no-go, right? Like that's like, people are gonna make fun of you. You wouldn't take like a 90s Honda Civic and put a dual exhaust on it. You're gonna get made fun of. But you can do it with an MR2 because once again, the Toyota designers put a dual exhaust on the car from the factory, even though it was only a 4-cylinder. So if you're taking what the factory did and just adjusting it, it's kind of like your permission to do so, and it kind of suits the car. The looks of the car were designed around there being 2 exhaust tips on the rear bumper. So I think it works, it's cool. We do have the old style taillights on here, like the 91 to 93, I guess, taillights. And there was a time when all the MR2 owners were upgrading to the newer 94 taillights. And they had more of like kind of 4 round bulbs on the back. That was kind of like the go-to. Like everybody thought that these were outdated and then the 94 plus taillights were just better in every way because they were newer. I don't have a problem with these old ones anymore because the cars are old enough now that, old is gold, right? If it's old, it's automatically cool or retro or vintage these days. And those taillights are what Toyota was putting on their cars from the early 90s back then. So I think it's cool. I would probably consider, polishing these and doing some kind of like a restoration on them. They do look a little bit oxidized and cloudy. And same with this black trim piece, the center panel, you can do a trim restoration product on that and get it really nice dark black again. I think if you just improve the condition of these original taillights, I think they would still look great on the car. Once again though, on a more stock bodied car. If you want the old lights, you kind of have to go with an older look. So if we were to implement some of these changes that we talked about today, here's a rendering of what that might look like. And you can see we just kind of went back to a stock body, kept the paint color, kept the wheels. We really didn't change a whole lot to this car either, if you think about it. I think another problem with the Veilside kit is that it replaces the factory turn signals. So in this rendering, we've gone to the updated clear colored ones from the 98 and newer model. And then we've got the factory fog lights in there as well. You could do a more aggressive lip, like an Aerowear or a Greddy one or something like that. And if you wanted to bring the body of the car down a little bit lower with side skirts and a front lip, that's okay. You just got to keep it in check. You got to try to honor the original lines of the car. Now we've come up with a game plan to fix the modification issues with Connor's MR2. But getting the mods right often isn't enough to truly make a car look amazing. So watch this video next and I'll show you which detailing tasks to focus on to get the best bang for your buck. And don't forget to sign up below for your chance to be in the next video. Should I lower mine a bit more?